الحمد لله وحده والصلاة والسلام على من لا نبي بعده أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فأما اليتيم فلا تقهر وأما السائل فلا تنهر وأما بنعمة ربك فحدث صدق الله العظيم. Respected viewers, welcome back to our program where we are doing the tafsir of Surah Ad-Duha. Ad-Duha means the brightness of the morning. And in our previous programs, we have done the context with regard to the revelation of the surah, where Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam were undergoing challenges and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reassured him. And we had done how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reassured him. We also said that this surah, if we read it constantly, we reflect and ponder over the meaning, it can become a reassurance for our challenging times in our life. Because Surah Ad-Duha has that capacity to be able to reassure us and give us a lift whenever we're feeling down with regard to our own circumstances, or sometimes even with regard to our spiritual condition, when we feel that we don't have the necessary enthusiasm for our salat, our tilawat, then read Ad-Duha and also ponder over the meaning. Allah Ta'ala says, we will not forsake you, we will not abandon you. Then Allah Ta'ala made mention of, in response to the taunts of the disbelievers, look at the favors Allah Ta'ala granted you. Did we not find you? Alam yajidka yatiman fa'awa. Did we not find you as an orphan and we protected you? And did we not find you in search of the truth and we guided you with revelation? And did we not find you in need? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala enriched you and took care of your needs. Now after that, in response to the favors Allah has bestowed upon you, Allah Ta'ala says, as a consequences, O Prophet of Almighty Allah, there are certain responsibilities, and fulfill that. فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ. That the orphan, do not repel the orphan. Do not make the orphan feel uncomfortable. In Islam, there is great amount of emphasis to looking after an orphan. Ya Allah. Allah Ta'ala in the Holy Quran says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يَأْكُلُونَ أَمْوَالَ الْيَتَامَى ظُلْمًا إِنَّمَا يَأْكُلُونَ فِي بُطُونِهِمْ نَارًا. He who usurps the wealth of an orphan, he is putting the fire of hell, the fire of Jahannam into his stomach. And of course, orphans are vulnerable. Many times the parents pass away, the orphan is there, they are vulnerable. So easy for someone to take advantage of them. Therefore, Allah Ta'ala warns that if anyone usurps the right and the wealth of an orphan, he is putting the fire of hell into his stomach. Therefore, Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, the best of Muslim homes is that in which there is an orphan and he is well cared for and taken care of. And then Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam further said that the worst of Muslim homes is that in which there is an orphan and he is not taken care of and he is repelled and he is not looked after. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ. That do not turn away and do not repel the orphan. وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ. The second responsibility that comes with the favors Allah has bestowed you, which we have mentioned. Allah Ta'ala says, the one who is the beggar, the one who is in need, do not dispel, do not turn them away. Now obviously, we know that there has to be a balance by the very nature of things. Many a times people ask without them being in need, which Allah Ta'ala in the Quran says, لَا يَسَلُونَ النَّاسَ إِلْحَافًا. Don't unnecessarily beg. Because when you open up the door of begging, in the hadith, Allah Ta'ala says, I open up the door of poverty for you. So try and strive to become independent. Therefore, that is on one side, one scale, one side of the equation in the argument, that a person mustn't beg unnecessarily. But if a person comes to you and he is in need, then a person must try to fulfill his needs. This is something that is important. I mean, there is great amount of emphasis in Islam with regard to showing generosity. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had said, the best of charity is that where you feed a person who is hungry, or you give water to a person who is thirsty. That is the best of charity. Nabi Karim Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, every day, 2 angels come down from the heaven and they pray and they make dua. Allahumma ati munfikan khalafa وَاللَّهُمَّ آتِ مُمْسِكًا تَلَفًا. Oh Allah, the one who is generous, give him more wealth. Give him blessings in his wealth. Give him more and give him blessings. And the one who withholds, who doesn't give, oh Allah, destroy his wealth. So a person who comes to ask you for need, you must hasten to try and fulfill his need. Allah in the Holy Quran has also made mention, لِلْفُقَرَاءِ الَّذِينَ أُحْصِرُوا فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ لَا يَسْتَطِيعُونَ ضَرْبًا فِي الْأَرْضِ يَحْسَبُهُمُ الْجَاهِلُ أَغْنِيَاءَ مِنَ التَّعَفُّفِ. The verse in the 4th juz tells us about people who are needy and they don't ask. It is the responsibility of people of wealth and people of means to search out for certain people. يَحْسَبُهُمُ الْجَاهِلُ. The ignorant will think of them that they are wealthy, but they are hiding their poverty. Allah Ta'ala says it is the responsibility of the wealthy to seek out such people who are in need, but who don't, because of their dignity and honor, they don't go and speak out and they don't go and tell people about their need. And the last verse of the surah says, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. And as far as the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are concerned, make mention of them. Subhanallah. It is something that is very, very interesting. So if you look at the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, now when we ever have the favors of Allah, we are supposed to be grateful to Allah ta'ala for his favors. Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam had said, الطَّاعِمِ الشَّاكِرْ كَالسَّائِمِ الصَّابِرْ. The person who has food to eat and he is grateful, he gets the same reward as a person who fasts and he adopts patience. So to make, to be grateful is a very great favor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَاذْكُرُونِي أَذْكُرُكُمْ وَاشْكُرُوا لِي. And be grateful to me and do not be ungrateful. Allah ta'ala in the Quran says, لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. If you are grateful, I will give you more. وَلَإِن كَفَرْتُمْ. And if you are ungrateful, my adhab is also great. And part of my adhab is, I could take away the favor I bestowed upon you because of your ungratefulness. So gratefulness increases our favors. So we are supposed to be grateful for the favors Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has bestowed upon us. And many times, very few people are grateful. Umar radiallahu anhu saw a person making dua in the haram. And he was saying, oh Allah, make me amongst the very few. So Umar said, what an amazing dua you're making. I can't understand. What do you mean by saying, oh Allah, make me amongst the very few? So he said, oh Umar, don't you see Allah in the Quran says, وَقَلِيلٌ مِّنْ عِبَادِيَ الشَّكُورِ. Very few people are grateful to Allah for the favors Allah has bestowed them. And I'm saying, oh Allah, make me amongst those few who are grateful to you for your favors. So, وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ tells us that we must be grateful. And part of gratefulness and part of being and showing gratitude is to relate the favors upon you. Now there's a fine line. The one line is when you got favors, you boast, you show arrogance, right? And that can also, that when you have the favors, you are arrogant and you're talking, I got this car, I got this home, I got this palatial home, I got this holiday home, I'm going for vacation to this place. So one mentioning of a favor upon you could be based on arrogance. And the other one is where you humbly make mention of the favors of Allah as recounting the favors of Allah Ta'ala upon you. Now that the second one is desired, the first one is not desired. The first one of being arrogant with regard to the favors that you have without taking into account that the one who has given you, that is pride and arrogance, which is not desired, which is a trait that is not good, which has been prohibited. But there's another one where you make mention of the favors of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a humble way, thanking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is what is meant in this verse. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. So in conclusion, with regard to the surah, let us look at it again in context. And we have done 4 programs, and spent almost an hour in these four programs. So let us look at what we say. Allah Ta'ala takes an oath on the bright sun and upon the tranquil night. And both of these times are times of reflection, tranquility. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Allah has not forsaken you and abandoned you as the disbelievers because of a particular incident. They taunted Nabi Karim sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, because of the taunts, I gave you 3 favors for you to recount. Did we not find you an orphan and we protected you? Did we not find you in search of the truth, and we guided you through the means of revelation? Did we not find you in need, and we enriched you and took care of your needs? Now, in response to those favors, فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ, do not repel the orphan. And as far as the person who is needy, who comes to your door, don't reject him. Give him something. Try to fulfill his needs. وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَتِهِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. And as far as the favors of Allah Ta'ala is, mention it out of humility and thanking Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. What a beautiful surah. What a very beautiful reassurance. And what a beautiful way to lift us up whenever we are feeling down. May Allah give us the tawfiq of understanding. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.